I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Spotlight On. I'm your host, Chelsea Overocker, and joined today, we have Olivia Dudek. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
Good. Olivia here has been in Modern Family, NCIS, Baby Daddy, and she'll be starring in the new film called Anna, which will be released nationwide in theaters. Congratulations on that.
Thank you very much.
Is this your first movie that you're in that's in theaters?
Yeah, I mean, I've had some others that did like the film festival circuit, a lot of indies that went there, but after that, they didn't have a wide release. So
this is huge.
Yeah, so this is like different level for me.
Yeah, well, that's something to be proud of.
Thank you.
The main plot with this movie, it's about a young woman who's in a tight-knit immigrant community whose mother is hospitalized, and Anna has to go to extreme lengths to help her pay for the hospital stay. Is there anything else you could tell us more about this drama?
Yeah, I do have to be careful what I say.
Yes, yes.
There are a lot of details in it. But yeah, so she grew up as a ballerina, and that's her strength. As you know, when you're in a tight situation, you kind of have to be resourceful and use what you have to make ends meet. And obviously, you know, she doesn't have a father figure. She doesn't really have any other family because she is an immigrant from Mexico or any other resources to help her. So she thinks and she becomes a stripper. And she, yep.
Did not know this part of the movie.
Plot twist, literally. Yeah, and so she does that to support herself and her mother and to make ends meet. So, yeah, that's kind of how the film starts out.
What did you have to do to prepare for this role, especially having to do some stripping, I assume?
A lot. I mean, there were so many different stages of pre-production and just the preparation process in general. But that in particular, once I got the part, I did meet with a choreographer one-on-one, and she had been a burlesque dancer and worked in a strip club before. So she took me to the club, and it was just us. I mean, it was us and the director, Jose, but then it was also just us meeting one-on-one for a long time, going over all of the routines and making sure I was really comfortable because, yes, it takes your core. It's so funny if you consider yourself athletic.
Yeah.
Or well-versed in one sport or like even just type of dance, and then you get thrown into something else and you're like, I got this, and you're like, no, I don't. It uses different muscles. It's like a whole nother ball game. So I worked with her to learn all the choreography, and yeah, we met for a long time.
Yeah, because most actors, if they do something where they're in a strip club or they have a scene where they're dancing or performing, they will actually go to a strip club, watch the dancers to kind of learn.
Yeah. So
did you watch any dancers as well?
Yep, did that, Chelsea.
You did that?
Yeah, so I mean, meeting with the choreographer was what I did for my actual physical preparation, but for the, you know, my backstory and all of that, I did, yeah, with different, you know, people that were working on the film, you know, so it was a really safe environment, and they were making sure I was taken care of course.
That's good.
Yeah, we went and we did our research, but, you know, I feel like watching people perform is one thing, but what I really learned was kind of the behind the scenes of even that world. For instance, when I would just I used the restroom one time, and I heard a couple of the dancers in the restroom just talking about I can't remember what it was exactly, but making a comment about their boss and what time they were getting off and what they should do afterwards, and kind of complaining and griping about the situation. And I was like, oh my gosh, like hidden in a stall. And I was like, this is magic. Like just to get the feel, like what's it like? Everyone knows the ins and outs of any particular job, but I was like, this is something I couldn't, because when you're performing, you're putting on a persona. You know, unless you're backstage, you're not going to get, you know, what they're actually going through.
So you got to see like the backstory of it as well.
Yeah,
exactly. That's really cool.
So,
and was it hard for you to learn the routines because you're a dancer as well?
Yeah, it was mainly not physically. Physically, it was like, you know, I learned something. You get the choreography, you get it down. I'm confident. I memorize it very well. But it's more emotionally. And everyone on set, you know, it was a very physically demanding film, but it was also very emotionally demanding. And they were like, I think it's definitely because of my dance background that I was so comfortable with all of the, you know, the risque scenes and the dancing and that kind of strip club environment. and being scantily clad, and of course they're rushing to me with a robe as soon as they call take, but I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot even the outfit I was in. And that's definitely comes from, when you grow up as a dancer and you're with dancers backstage and just used to changing in front of each other and, they're your sisters. And I would just be so into it, I would forget that I was even on set. But it was more the emotionally heavy scenes that were daunting, and they're like, you were just half naked, how are you scared? And I'm like, no, that's my comfort zone. It's this that is daunting to me. So it's funny.
That is really funny. So with dancing, you went to school. You studied it professionally in New York.
Yes,
and
I did.
Was it just ballerina that you studied?
It was the core of the school of the Alvin, Ailey American Dance Theater, which is in Manhattan, is ballet, definitely at the core, but also modern. And then you take a lot of elective classes to just keep you strong when you're going to the school. I mean, you can take electives. I mean, I took tap while I was there for fun. But they also, part of our everyday was West African. And yeah, I think that was it. But it was, mornings and afternoons of ballet, modern, and West African. Yeah, all day long.
Wow. So did you do acting as well when you were dancing? Or was it just when you were in New York, you were just focused on the dancing?
I was focused on the dancing. I mean, I definitely went to New York City as a dancer and with this thought in my mind that I wanted to be like a company dancer and I wanted to tour the world with a company, and that I was going to do it as long as my body can handle it, and I could do it until I was middle-aged at most, because then it's on to the next prima ballerina. But when I got to New York, not only was it competitive and very catty, like Black Swan, but I kind of just saw even they were grooming us in the school to be in the company, and I kind of saw what that life would look like. And it's a beautiful career and lifestyle choice, but it just wasn't for me, and I didn't really understand that, coming from a small town, being even touring with dance, but just a studio dancer. I didn't really see it until I was in it to know actually this isn't for me, and I knew it. So I started when I was in LA or New York, even just auditioning for everything. I started auditioning for Broadway and off Broadway, and as a dancer, Lion King, Cirque du Soleil, and just all these production, just because I was I'm here, I want to get out there. And I actually booked, it was I ended up booking a lot of commercials when I was in New York, and I was awesome. What is this? It was my first experience doing that, but it was when I actually booked a MasterCard commercial in New York that I really got to have one-on-one time with the crew, because we actually traveled to the shoot together. It was a night shoot in New Jersey, so we had to cross the George Washington Bridge together, and we got a lot of time to chat. It was just me, the lead actress in the film, the a few crew members, and that was it. And on the drive back, I was so giddy with that acting bug. Everyone was asleep. We were driving back at 5 a.m. and I just wouldn't shut up about it. And the director took me seriously and gave me a lot of tips, and he was hun, he gave me 2 points. He was for one, if you're serious about this, you need to go to school and study, because everyone thinks this comes naturally to this actress, but it's a craft.
Yes,
it is. People watching TV don't maybe understand that, because it is seamless with a good actor. And then for two, and he was get your bum to LA. That's where it's at. And I was okay, processing it. And then within 3 months, I was in LA.
You're in LA.
Lived and moved to LA.
And then you studied there. And was it with Playhouse that you studied?
Initially, it was the Stella Adler Theater on Hollywood Boulevard. So Stella Adler, LA. And then, I did a few plays there and met some awesome people. I met Jim Perrick of True Blood, who is to this day a close friend of mine.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, and he was putting on this play, Waiting for Lefty, at, he was putting it on with the crew, or a cast from Playhouse West, but they were putting the play up, means where you show it, at Stella Adler.
Yeah.
And so he held auditions there, and he cast me as, of course, the dancer role of young Flory, who's this young, hopeless romantic dancer who wants to get married. And I met him and everyone in the play, and I was what? Why are you guys what is this you guys all have in common? They were all amazing actors.
Yeah.
And, they're and I come to find out, because they're all from Playhouse West, where they study the Meisner technique, which is really listening and just a very simple back and forth foundation. And they were all amazing. And so it was him that he and his friends brought me over to Playhouse West, and that's my true alma mater. And
that's
if I have time, would go back to take classes there.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you did most of the plays, and then you transitioned into film
after
that. And then that's how you got Anna.
Mm-hmm.
You posted on social media 3 years ago, I was tired of only being seen as a commercial actor, and a little indie gem came into my life. I didn't know anything about the role, but the director wanted me to read for the title part. As soon as I read the script, I cried. The story of a young girl struggling through life as I had been touched of a part of me I didn't realize was screaming to come out. So it feels like you were really connected to this film and this part and this role. And why did you want to take this on? Why did you feel so connected?
Well, for one, I mean, this might sound like a cliche, but the writing is amazing in the script. And my first audition was a cold read, and I only got the sides, the pages of the script that you audition with. And it wasn't until my first callback that I actually got the script to read through. And I didn't know much about the part, but as soon as I read the script, I bawled, and I was like, sign me up. And Raphael Augustine is the writer.
Yes.
The writer on Jane the Virgin is amazing. It's really, the story is great, but the writing just like, you don't have to do any work. You just have to study the script. It's all there, not too much dialogue. It's just beautifully, amazingly written. I was like, of course you're a great writer and have all these credits. Like, you're great. Yeah, what was the question?
Just how do you feel so connected with this part? Because you were tweeting about it, and it kind of sounded like this role, you weren't quite sure if how the movie was going to come out, and then now this is something that you're so proud of. So just the steps in the life that you had to go through. Because another thing you tweeted was, I would never be where I am without rejection. The fire is meant to build you with a bright heart on the inside. Yeah. So I feel like with this film, you had so many lessons that you learned, not only about yourself, but just as an actor. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, I feel that everything started happening for me, like, I don't know, when, I was really, when a lot changed in my faith, and I really, became strong in my faith, because, like I said, it did take Anna a long time to be edited, and it's still not out yet. And there was a time right when we wrapped and when my job was done, which means production, not post-production, and I was so eager for it to come out because I knew it was amazing. We had a tight-knit family. It was all of our passion projects, and we knew it was going to be just amazing for anyone to see. And I was constantly bugging, like, when is it going to be done? When is it going to be done? And it was taking a lot longer than I expected. And then I really just kind of gave up on it. And I was going through a rough time. I mean, even when I booked that film, I was, just with the ups and downs of acting. And like I said, I always have done well commercially, but theatrically, which is, for film and television, I think it's been hard to cast me. And I had a lot of situations where, because I've been considered ethnically ambiguous in a lot of projects. Like when I auditioned for the Power Rangers, and they were like, we're not really sure what you are. It's a little bit hard when it comes to selling toys and franchise type things.
They said that to you?
Oh yeah. But I understand it.
Yeah,
it's but it's also okay, you have to understand how the industry sees you, and it's okay, commercially that's great, but that's not my goal. And it was when I booked Anna, that I was finally able to have something that was creatively fulfilling, because people don't understand, when you go to a commercial, you kind of show up on set for 3 days and smile. It's not you don't go through a process and, and have an outlet as an artist. So, when I booked Anna, I was just finally, and I mean, it was just such amazing work and a gift to be given. But, so before Anna, it was kind of just rough as an artist, being if the roles aren't coming, I can, what outlet do I have? And, so after, I wasn't really knowing when it was going to come out, I kind of just had to let it go and surrender in a lot of ways. And I was considering, I took a job out of town for about 5 months, and it was a really nice refresher for me to, get out of LA. And it was in New York, but still just to get out of the bubble that I was in and really just, focus on my faith and renewing that every day. And when I came back, I was just, in a different place of, what direction I'm going to go in. And then that's honestly when everything started happening for me. And Anna came and all these great things. But I just felt I had to be strong in order to receive all that.
That's a great lesson, because, if something doesn't happen or something gets cut out of your life, just, you have to move forward and say, okay, you know what, this wasn't meant to be. Close the door and then open up another door, and it comes with more possibilities. So that's a great lesson that you learn, especially just getting this early in your career.
Thank you. Yeah, I would agree.
So what is your faith?
I mean, I am Christian, but I guess I don't love to talk about Christianity as much because, well, a lot of reasons. You're Christian, right?
I am Christian.
Yeah, so I feel like people it has a bad connotation, which is so unfortunate. It's like I feel like people hear Christian that aren't Christian, or maybe that even are, and they just like think of all these preconceived things, and it's like I don't want to proclaim Christianity almost because I feel like it gets such a bad rap,
Yeah.
And so for me, what's more important is, to like explain my story and for people to understand, just like being in alignment with what your path and destiny is, which obviously means being in alignment with what God has for you and what He's has for your life, which is already written and already planned. It's just a matter of you being focused and driven and in alignment enough to like know what that is and not get off course. Which I did a lot of, and when I first came out here, because the town is so big and there's so much opportunity. So, so it's more about, a personal relationship with God and spirituality, is what I would say.
And your faith is so important to you that during your free time, you are writing a book, and it has to do with your life and your faith.
Yeah.
What inspired you to write this book?
To be honest, I just was called to write it, and I feel I think anyone can understand what being called to do something is and means, whether they describe themselves as a Christian or are aware of their relationship or a relationship with God or not. But I just really felt called to write it when I was kind of I think it was right before I went out of town, and so I did use a lot of my time when I was out of town to write. Kind of have to be like out of your bubble and have perspective to write about yourself, and I was like, and everything just became so clear. So yeah.
Well, that's impressive. Can you tell us, do you know the name of your book yet, or is it still kind of under wraps?
I do. I don't think I can say it yet.
Not
but
yet.
It has a name.
It has a name? Okay, we'll be on the lookout for it. But what advice can you give anyone that's starting with acting or trying to pursue this as a career? Because you brought in such great advice, I think, with, okay, you know what, I didn't get the Power Rangers, and it wasn't because it wasn't the right role, but you didn't give up. You just had to step back, and then you're like, you know what, let's try again, and then you got Anna, which is a better fit, and then there's more opportunities that will open up for you. But what's some advice you could give anyone that's trying to pursue acting or anything in the entertainment industry?
Well, I think you actually just said it, whether you realize it or not, but it is about the timing, because I even look back at the Power Rangers, and even though I was so devastated when I didn't get it, because I was auditioning for like almost like a year of my life, and then I didn't get it, at that, in hindsight, I realized that my maturity level, like had I gotten it, I would have self-sabotaged myself with like everything I would have received from it, like the fame and the money, and it was shot in New Zealand, and like having to go there and deal with that, like I just wasn't ready, but I was devastated afterwards anyways, and my beautiful mom came to town and who didn't live in LA, and she was just like, you know what, if you want to stay in this business, hon, you got to toughen up. Like, just like, so like, get over it. Cause like, like come on.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, fine. Just like, but so yeah, she just told me you got to have a thicker skin, hun. And so I would say advice for when you're initially starting out, just don't give up. Because when I first came out here, there were people like I looked up to. Now I'm like, why did I look up to them? But people that told me like so many things about what I should do with my career. And one person said like, give it, this amount of time. Another person said, give it like this amount of time. But I, had I only given it that amount of time, like that's would have been like giving up when I didn't get Power Rangers, Exactly. So really like it's God's timing, not ours. And it's like so many things you feel that aren't working out, they actually will come full circle, or like a film you did a long time ago will finally come out, or so many things. There's a director or casting director you worked with will like call you back in for a different project or a different role. I think, so just many different things. Like it's not our timing. Like we look at it as like a month, a day, a year, but like, if you're really interested in it, or passionate about it, you will be tested to see if you will stick with it.
I like that.
Yeah, don't give up.
I like that. Yeah, there's a saying that goes with walls. Walls are there not to keep you from something, but to see how badly you want it.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah. Well, you're doing a great job with it. That's great advice. I love it. So we're just going to play a round of random questions. And just be as honest as you want.
Okay.
As
I want.
As you want. Do you have an actor who inspires you?
Yeah, Morgan Freeman.
Oh, why her?
No, Morgan Freeman, the actor.
The actor.
Oh, gosh. I mean, I think I like his demeanor, but his acting is just so, just everything he does. I like the choices he makes. I like his timing. I like his presence. Just, yeah, I want to, like, try to emulate that, that presence.
Presence.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
What are 3 words that best describe you?
Like brave.
Yes.
Loving.
Yeah.
And focused.
That's a good one. Focused.
Yeah.
Great one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's a ridiculous thing you're afraid of?
I feel like I'm scared to tell people because then they'll use it against me. But snakes. Yeah.
Me too.
And yeah. But my boyfriend loves to tease me, because like sometimes they'll have them on Hollywood Boulevard. Like the people that dress up as characters and all that hurrah that goes. There'll be people just with snakes and will be walking around and he'll be like he'll mess with me about it.
No,
snakes.
Can't. Well, yeah, I'm just afraid there's gonna come at you. You never know.
Yeah, there isn't much, but like snakes and like certain like reptiles.
That is something to be afraid of.
Yeah.
What's the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning?
Pray.
Aww.
Lord's Prayer. Try to do it like before I open my eyes and look at my phone,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
And what's one thing you've tried that you'll never do again?
Oh gosh. Gosh. Oh, I mean, when you asked me the question, so many things like came to mind, but I can't articulate it. Oh gosh. Actually, running on the freeway. I did that once. Not a good idea. Not a good idea. I used to be a runner, and like I always was like, I'm gonna be the best, and like, and so I was just like, I'm just gonna keep going. And my home, like where I grew up, is a very small town, so like the freeway isn't like as intense as the 405 or the 101. But I was just like you could literally run the distance like from like my home to my high school to the freeway back. And I was like, I'm just going to keep running. I always had like so much adrenaline. And I was like, I'm just going to get on the freeway. And then I got home and I told my dad, he's like, you what?
Yeah, you have to have adrenaline to be on the freeway.
I mean, there was like a little like side area. And I was like, it's a sidewalk. No, it's not.
Oh my. So
don't do that again.
Yeah, no. And you did not get hit, obviously.
No.
You're fine.
Yeah.
Well, that's like a dare that I don't think I would ever do.
Yeah.
Well,
never again.
Never again.
Mm-mm.
Name 3 TV shows that you are currently watching.
First one is kind of funny. I had Dr. Pimple Popper.
Oh, okay.
I was always like, I could not stomach that. And then I watched it and I was like, I love this show. Like, it's addicting. So that's like my guilty pleasure. The second one would be, You. I mean, I binged like season 2.
I hear that's so good.
It's so good. And Jenna Ortega is so good. Go Jenna. She's amazing. Like, I love her in that role.
Okay.
She's so good.
I gotta watch it because you're the 4th person that says You is amazing.
I mean, I think it's a very binge-worthy show. And I like look at a lot of pilots, like if I'm going out for something, if I want to familiarize myself, and like if I don't love the pilot, I won't continue watching. So like I've seen a lot of pilots, but that one I was just like, I watched it all.
Okay.
And a third would maybe be, I like Glow Up. It's like that. It's another. Reality or competition between makeup artists. That one's really good.
That one does sound good.
That one, yeah.
Okay.
It's really good.
Well, I'm gonna put those on my bucket list, especially You, because that sounds great. Well, that was our round of random questions.
Loved it.
So, besides Anna and working on your book, do you have any upcoming projects in 2020?
Well, I mean, I am auditioning. Like, I'm not exempt from that. So, I am auditioning. And so, I mean, I'm excited for the next project to come my way and what genre and type it will be in. So, I mean, I am just in the audition game. I'm like auditioning for a lot of different things all across the board. And I am really adamant about writing. And I mean, I never say too much about my personal life, but I'm moving and a lot of exciting things in my personal life. But
well, that's important too.
So, yeah.
That's cool. And So with the next part that you want to get, or next project, do you want to do anything that you could still continue your dancing with?
Yeah, I feel like it might not be like ballet exactly, but I mean, I would love to do action. And so I feel like it's the amazing thing about acting is like you get to try new things and you get to learn new things. And I feel like it's always, my dance that like transfers over to the skill that I'm auditioning with or the parts that I get, whether it is pole dancing or martial arts in the Power Rangers or boxing, which is like something I would love to do for a film or in a movie, or like different types of martial arts I feel very confident in. But so, yeah, action for sure.
I can say you definitely do action.
It makes it fun. It's very, like, the blocking of it is like learning a new dance to me. So it's just like, I think, acting feels like a dance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's it's fun. So I like that genre.
I could definitely see you doing that. So have you only been in 2 movies now that you've been able to use your dancing skills? Because you were in one that was called Post.
Yeah, so that was, oh my gosh, so long ago. That was the directorial debut of Jim Perrick. And so, when I met him, he cast me in that and as a dancer. And that was like as a modern dancer. And I think, I can't remember really, but there have been a lot of like print and commercial jobs where I've been a dancer or like gymnast or cheerleader and stuff.
You did gymnastics too?
I did when I was really little. I mean, dance was my main thing, but I definitely did cheerleading and I was a flyer in that and did stunts and tumbling, so I'm comfortable in it. So yeah, for a lot of like commercials, I use those skills. But yeah.
That's exciting. Yeah, I was a gymnast too, 16 years. So I'm like, the tumbling part is the best.
Yeah, but I feel like, it's kind of in you once you know those moves, and like it's like muscle memory. So you kind of, when you're thrown into it, you might need to brush up, but it is cool how it comes back. You know?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, and I was going to ask you with Post too, because it was with you use your dancing skills. Did you have to do anything to prepare for that role as well? Yeah,
so that one was really fun because who was in that? Like it was the story of one like depressed dancer, and it was like she was in a very small dance company, and so it was me, my friend Katie Ryan, Heather Morris from Glee, and Lexi Hume. And I got to be like, Jim asked me to like be the choreographer for it. Okay. And so it was really fun to like, like not only use my dance skills, but also like do the choreography for like a movie and all of our dance scenes for it. So, so that was really fun. And like, even whether it like makes it into the final cut or not, like the backstory that you put into like the dance routine that you're doing, which like some people don't realize, but when you do dance, like your dance teacher, when she's teaching you, she's like telling you like the backstory. She's like, this is what it's about and stuff. And so you're acting, like even if it's like a just dance performance piece,
Yeah.
So I would say that was the most fun part of that. But yeah, we also got to shoot that in San Francisco and then it was like with all of our friends from Playhouse West, and then like it won like film festivals, but like best feature, and it was fun.
That sounds like a great movie. Yeah, when I was reading, I was like, a dancer having to face some challenging, terrifying problems.
Yeah.
But it's cool that you've got to do some dancing. You get to help choreograph it as well.
Yeah.
So, and you get to work with all your friends. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure where you can find that. I like forget. It's like with so many films, it's like, I don't know. Maybe Redbox? I don't know.
Well, look it up. Post. Look it up. That looks fun.
Yeah.
Well, Olivia, it's been so great to have you in studio. You have so many exciting things coming up. I cannot wait to check out the movie Anna, because that sounds awesome.
Thank you.
And it's going to be released sometime this year in theaters. We just don't have a date for it yet.
2020. Yeah. Hopefully late 2020.
Hopefully late. Okay, well, keep us updated.
I will.
But before we go, where can people find you on social media?
I mainly use Instagram, and it's just Olivia Dudek _. Dudek is like dude with a K on the end.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Good to know. Yeah. And then you could find me on Instagram at Chelsea Overrocker and on Twitter at Chels Overrocker. Thank you guys so much for watching Spotlight on Interview. Be sure to subscribe to AfterBuzz TV to check out more interviews. See you next time. Bye.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.